Hey everyone, it's Michael Zapersky, and today I'm here with Eric Kapitulik. Eric, welcome.
Thanks, Mike. I'm fired up to be here.
Yeah, good stuff. So you served in the United States Marine Corps, leading a team of 20 operations specialists. You now run your own consulting firm, the Program LLC, where you help organizations develop leaders and build more cohesive teams. Your clients include very well-known names like GE and Goldman Sachs, the Detroit Pistons. You even climb Mount Everest, from what I've researched and heard here. So let's start off. Just tell us, like, what motivates you? Where does all this kind of energy to excel come from?
Yeah, thanks. I guess it's a little bit of nature and nurture.
Hmm.
Um, I don't really believe in luck, except when it comes to the family you're born into.
Mm.
And I was very lucky. I was born into a great family with parents who, my dad's a policeman, my mom was a school teacher, so they didn't always, we certainly couldn't afford everything that I wanted,
Hmm.
but I certainly had everything that I needed. Nothing more greater than A, their love, and B, opportunity. And they worked extremely hard and gave my sisters and I great opportunity in life. With that said, um, when I think about the things that I've done in my life, some of the personal things, and why do you do that? Um, I think a bit of it is nature, though.
Mm.
By the same token, my parents certainly always pushed me. My mom has a very something that I always think about with my own children, which is you don't let kids grow up, you raise them.
Mm.
And that's always struck a chord with me. And I certainly was raised, and they pushed me to do things. By the same token, I think as I look back on it, at least my truth, I don't know if it's the truth, but at least my truth is, I don't know if they had to push that hard.
Hmm.
I was, I think just by nature, I always wanted to challenge myself. But, as an example, I think back to high school. And in high school, I worked one summer with our my college counselor, building stone walls. He was the wrestling coach. I didn't wrestle, but I'm not tough enough to be a wrestler. But he was the wrestling coach, and so he and I would build stone walls. No tractor, no nothing, just by hand.
Hmm.
And on one day, we must have worked on this monster of a stone to get it just right into place, and we just couldn't do it. And finally, at the end of the day, he said, "Eric, the heck with it. Go home. We'll deal with this thing tomorrow." So I went home, and I was 15 years old at the time. Well, that night I could not sleep. I just couldn't sleep,
Yeah.
thinking about that stone that had beaten me. And I got back on my bike with my flashlight, rode my bike out to the stone wall, and I worked by myself for hours and finally got the stone into position. And the following day, we show up, and I'm there back again on time. And Mr. Coach says it was a bit like Pinocchio, right? Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden the stone's in place when he shows back up the following day, and he's like, "How in the heck?" And I told him, and he said, "Why'd you do it?" And I said, I can't accept just leaving
Yeah.
it."
Yeah.
And that challenge, I don't know if I can do it. That has driven me throughout my entire life.
I love that. Here at Consulting Success, we're really big on mindset. I think we see and we observe a lot of consultants who are very focused on skills and the development of their skills, but they don't pay much attention to mindset. And to me, Eric, very clearly, mindset is a very big part of everything that you've probably accomplished to this point, right, in the military, but also even now with your business. How do you work on developing? Like, do you still actively and consciously work on developing your mindset, or is it something that has now already become a habit from everything that you've gotten to in terms of this point?
Well, I would start with everything in life is habit forming.
Mm.
But because it is, that means that we can develop bad habits too. So, no, for me, let me just, from a physical aspect, Mike. I'll just go over something that happened yesterday. Okay.
Sure, let's do it.
I decided that I was going to work out yesterday. It was one of my workout days. I didn't want to. Okay. So right from the get go, I don't want to work out. I just didn't want to do it. Then I go, okay, you're going to. So I was going to do a swim. And in my head, I spent all this energy saying, okay, you're sore, you're tired, you don't want to pull anything, do this easy swim workout. I spent all this emotional and mental energy talking to myself about how to do things easier. I got in the pool and finally just said, God, you are being soft. Stop. You got to get better. As we teach at the program, this isn't the programmer, Eric Kapitulik, that believes this. This is science. Nature tells us we either get better or you die. There is no middle ground. So finally I get in the pool and I said, God, get better. And I pushed myself and had a great swim workout and finished. And yeah, at the end, I feel great about it. I'm proud of myself, all the rest of it. And by the same token, I'm thinking to myself, God, why don't you stop being so soft? Just go and do it. Like, why do you spend so much energy trying to talk yourself out of it? Just make the decision to do it and then go and do it. And it's something I have to fight with still every day. Like all of us, we have to fight it.
So how do you, I mean, you described, I love that example, so thank you for sharing it. But I'm, as you were explaining that, I'm thinking about all of the consultants out there who have their own, let's call it, daily struggle with marketing, right? They know they need to maybe pick up the phone and call someone, but they don't. They know they need to, take some activity or some action that just isn't comfortable for them. And instead of doing that, they just default to playing on LinkedIn or their website or something, working their business plan because it's just more comfortable and easier to do. What would you say to someone right now who just knows whether they're going to, acknowledge it publicly or not? They know deep down inside that they are being, too easy, too soft. They're not taking action. They're not living up to their full potential because there's some fear or something that is uncomfortable for them. What advice might you offer to someone in that situation?
So first and foremost, I would say, boy, I have great empathy for you. I understand.
Yeah.
Because, oh man, to pick up that phone and start doing cold calls, to go talk to a coworker that you need to have a tough conversation with, to work on marketing for me. Oh boy. Ugh. I understand the dread, dread that we have for doing those things. What we teach at the program, what my teammates and I teach is, yes, there are, I think that, I talked about it earlier in the conversation, right? Nature or nurture. It's probably a little bit of both. And yes, maybe some people are just naturally more disciplined than others. But really, a disciplined person just does disciplined things. And if we are going to believe that the more disciplined we can be, the more success it will lead to, then realize it's not about being disciplined, it's about becoming more disciplined. So as I said earlier, look, just don't maintain, because there is nothing in life as just maintaining. You either get better or you die.
Right.
So rather than say, oh my God, I have to start doing this to be more disciplined. I have to start doing that to be more disciplined. I don't do this and I stay away from doing that and this too, and this too, and this too. Pick one thing. Just pick one thing today. And if that is cold calls, as an example, because that's one that comes up all the time. And as an entrepreneur, as somebody who owns a small business, and you're not only the CEO, but you're also the director of sales and the director of marketing, we have to do them if we're going to grow our business, is instead of saying, well, hey, I'm going to make 50 cold calls every single day this week. Don't. One cold call today. Let me just do one today. I'm going to do one every single day. A very good friend of mine is the offensive coordinator at the University of Southern California for their football team, Graham Harrell. Graham decided 1 mile a day I'm going to run. I don't like to run. I'm not good at it. I'm a sprinter. He was a pro quarterback. I'm a fast twitch guy. I want to do this. But hey, I've got to increase my endurance. So I'm going to run 1 mile every day. I texted him this morning saying, hey, don't let all these big time interviews that you're having lead to excuses for you not getting your mile in.
Yeah.
And Graham wrote me back and said, hey, don't worry, Cap. I had an 8:30 meeting this morning. I got 3 in before the 8:30 meeting. And that's what 1 mile a day leads to. That's what one cold call a day leads to. We do one. And then it becomes the expectation for us.
Right.
We then, although it starts with, oh God, one cold call, it then gets to the point where we're saying, oh man, one, I'm not happy with just one. I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do 3. And then we start to do disciplined things. Just do it.
Right. Yeah. Great advice. So your business has now gotten to the point, I think you have about 17 team members or so?
Yeah. Depending on the day. Yes.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Walk us through the transition from, you exiting out of the military into starting your consulting business, and why you decided to actually build a team. Why not make it the Eric show and just kind of build it around you, have a more lifestyle type of business? Why for you was it important to bring in some of these special operators from the military as your team members and build a company, build an organization, build a brand that is more than just you?
Let me be frank. Now knowing what I know about building a team and running a business, a team business, where it's not just the Eric Kapitulik show, there are some things that are very appealing about the Eric Kapitulik show.
Right. Yeah.
There are some things that are very appealing about it. For your listeners, are those things that are very appealing, are they more appealing than the appealing things about it not being the Eric Kapitulik show?
Right. There's no right or wrong. I mean,
right? There isn't. That's right. And I can understand why a lot of people do that rather than build a team, build a company, rather than a one-person consultancy. There's lots of great benefits to it. For me personally, had the great privilege of my one, outside of daddy and husband, Marine is still the title that I'm most proud of. Had the great privilege of being a United States Marine Corps officer. I could have spent I spent 8 years on active duty. I could have spent 38 and thought on the 38th, on the day of my 38th, thought, man, that was awesome. But there were just other things I wanted to go and try to accomplish in my life outside of the military. It was a very challenging decision for me to leave active duty. But I made that choice. And with everything in my life, I don't feel like that I'm incredibly smart. I don't feel like I'm ever the smartest guy in the room, even when there's me and nobody else. It's just not. I feel like I've got a certain level of intelligence that allows me to work really hard and go and find the answers. But I'm not, it's just not a strength of mine. What is discipline and hard work. And I'm going to, whatever I decide I'm going to do, I then make the decision that I'm going to make it the right choice.
Yeah. What do you say to, I was just going to ask you.
A lot of people, yeah, go ahead, Mike. Go, sorry.
No, sorry for jumping in there. I'm just thinking as you're talking about this, there's a lot of people who might be listening who are either still in the military or they've exited, or maybe they've just been in a situation that they can draw some parallels to being in, an organization like the military that's very demanding and where discipline, and it's coming back into civilian life. What advice would you have for someone making that leap from that type of lifestyle and just that is so all encompassing into now building a business. What kind of takeaways do you have, or just lessons, or looking back in hindsight, things that you might suggest for someone who is making that transition?
Yeah, it's a challenging one, so I can understand that. And it's not just military, as you said, it's not just military to civilian life. Hey, look, what about if you're at a great company, you make enough money, you've got good benefits, and now you're thinking, boy, do I start my own thing? Do I leave these things, right? High school students, right, are sending in their college applications. They're going to get they're going to get into a lot of great places. I really think that, yeah, sure, there's some bad decisions we can make in our life, but thankfully, a lot of times we're faced with just decisions that we have to make. So you do the best you can in figuring out what feels best, what you feel is best for you at that time in your life. And then once you make a decision, then it becomes challenging. It's not the decision. It's then working to make that decision the right decision. And that comes after making the decision. We then just got to work to make it the right one.
Do you find that, and is this something that you learned in the military about the importance of making a decision? And I'm asking because I've observed, as I've studied many very successful, business owners, entrepreneurs, that people who hesitate, who don't make a decision, are often in a position where they end up struggling a lot more. Whereas if you really look at those who are more successful, they made a decision. It may not be the right one, but they've just made a decision, and they end up spending time, adjusting to that decision. But at least they've made a decision, and therefore they're taking action, and they're having more kind of live feedback that they can adjust to. Is that something that came to or taught in the military, or what's kind of your experience around the importance of making a decision?
I think there's lots of people in the military. I think there's lots of officers, senior enlisted men and women who struggle with that. They struggle with they want to wait and get as much more information and get 100% of the information, when the truth is the enemy is changing out there, whoever the enemy might be. And instead we're put in a situation, we have a certain amount of information. We then make based on that information, and we should look at whatever information we have, absolutely. But based on the information that we have got to make a decision as quickly as possible. Why? Because it gives us more time after making that decision to, as I said, work on making it the right decision or changing right. What the plan is. Right? We make a decision, we come up with a plan as to how we're going to execute. We go down range and we start executing. Okay, but then the situation dictates, the enemy, so many different things change what our plan should be. But if the quicker we make the decision to implement that plan, then the more time that we have making those changes to get us to where we want to get to. I think for me, as one of my former Marines once said when I was in special operations, he said, damn, sir, you don't always make the right decision, but boy, I'll tell you what, you make a decision. And I thought, thank you. Is that you try to give me a compliment here or not? I took it as a compliment. Now, with that said, I will say this, Mike, I had the opportunity, one of our teammates, Ben Littauer, is Harvard graduate, Harvard, honors graduate, one of the smartest people that I know. I'm yelling at Ben constantly about, Ben, make a decision. Ben, you're waiting too long. Just go execute. Just go execute. I'm better for having Ben on my team because the truth is best is probably somewhere in the middle. And if you are a person who is going to struggle with making that decision, hey, surround yourself with people who want to go, go, go. And if you are a person, especially as a leader, who's go, 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 it's make sure that you bring people in that are going to make you better. And thankfully I have in that case, along with a large number of my other teammates.
As you started the business, just take us through, what was the first thing that you did to start generating clients? Where did your first few clients come from?
Yeah, so people tell me, I get a lot of credit now in people will say, man, Cap, that was a program. What a great idea. And I always think, yeah, it's a great idea, isn't it? It's not my idea, but it's a great one. And what I mean by that is when I was still in the Marine Corps, one of the last things I did was work in the admissions office at the Naval Academy, back at the Naval Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Right when I had shown up there from my special operations tour of duty, the head lacrosse coach, he had been my head lacrosse coach when I played there years prior. Well, I showed up there, and the weekend before, some lacrosse players had gotten in trouble, and he called me at work and said, Cap, can you come down here, meaning to the lacrosse offices, and just wear these guys out for a couple days? So that's what I did. I just went down there and worked out with the team doing our kind of special operations workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then fast forward years later, the assistant coach on that team had just been named the head coach at Harvard men's lacrosse.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me and said, and I had been open a week, and he had said, Cap, can you come down here and I just took over the softest team on the softest sport and can you come down and just wear these guys out for a little bit? So that's what I did. But during that time, I called the team captains out to come and just lead some of the exercises with me as I was working out with the team.
Mm-hmm.
And these are great young men. I mean, smart, intelligent, good people, right? But they just struggled with just leading an exercise for their team. And from that, I thought, these guys have enough guys that work out, strength and conditioning coaches, those types of things. They don't need me to get bigger, faster, stronger. But boy, they need some help as leaders. And from that one client, Harvard men's lacrosse, I worked with 2 other men's lacrosse teams in year 1.
How did you get those other 2? How did you get those other ones?
All the head coaches were coaches that I played for, against, or with.
And did you reach out to them, or did they reach out to you once they heard?
Oh, no. Oh, if you start your own business, if you start your own business and somebody reaches out to you, then play the lottery, because you're the luckiest person in the world.
Right. So you reached out to everyone. Yeah.
Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And from those 3 teams in year 1, we worked with 9 teams in year 2.
Mm-hmm.
And now we work with over 160 teams on an annual, college and pro athletic teams and major corporations annually. Mike, and I just remembered, I don't, because it was a great question. I just want to highlight to your audience, because you asked about why have a whole team rather than just me.
Yes.
Two main reasons, and I'll move on. I'm sorry from it. Number one, if you're by yourself, by definition, you can only be making revenue if you yourself are working. And to me, that didn't make sense to me. I wanted to have an organization where the members of the team could be making money when other members of the team are working.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on teams my whole life, whether it be athletic, military, or now business teams. And that idea of teammates helping teammates, I just love being around it. It just makes more sense. And to us, it made more sense financially, albeit it only makes more sense financially after a really long time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we hear that consistently. I mean, if you're a leaner business in terms of fewer staff members, employees, right, you can typically experience much higher profit margins initially, right? And if you're building the team, your profits can be significantly reduced. You're investing a lot more back into the business. It's a longer term play, right? It might take several years for you to start getting back that level of profitability that you might have as an individual. But if that's the direction that you want to go, right, and you feel good about that, then it can be very worthwhile. Just the one thing to know for some people is, I think there are a couple of ways you can look at, even as an independent or a solo consulting kind of operator, is you could look at revenue share or performance deals where there's percentages, or equity plays, or also retainers based on access, where you're not necessarily doing the work and spending hours. But you're right. I think, Eric, in most cases, you're not making money unless you're working, right? For most consultants, that is, unless they're kind of looking at some of those more advanced strategies, it can be challenging. So I'm wondering, you got this first call to come down, and work with this team. you're very new. How do you even approach your pricing and fees? Like, what did you even say to them? Like, yeah, sure, I'll come down. What did you like? How did you charge them? What did you know to put that together? What were your thoughts on at that time?
Yeah, I don't know if this interview is being video recorded, but if it
It,
is,
yep,
it was that and
right,
testing the wind and
right.
well, we'll charge this. And the industry that we are in,
Hmm.
we created it.
Hmm.
Um, Now there's been others who've tried copying us, but the program was the first team that did experiential training, offering um, really, not, hey, turn around and fall back into my arms, and we're going to call that trust development, but
Mm.
true adversity based training
Hmm.
where people are going to get outside their comfort zones, and in doing so are going to get better as individuals and as a team. We
Right.
created that market. So I didn't have comparables
Hmm.
to look at when figuring out our pricing. So instead of spending, and I would suggest this to a lot of uh, business owners,
Hmm.
if in a similar situation of God, what should we charge for this? God, capitalism is awesome because the market is going to tell you what you should charge for it.
Hmm.
So that first one, I thought, okay, well, I want to make some money doing this, and hey, I got to get a client to start with, somebody who's going to vouch for me. So, I charged almost nothing. I mean, almost nothing. And then in year one, with those other two clients, they said, "Well, Cap, how much is it?" So I added a couple $100 on to what I charged the first guy,
Hmm.
and they both said yes. And in year two, I did the same thing.
Right.
And then I thought, if everybody is saying yes, it's probably too cheap.
Hmm.
So really, how did I figure it out? And I'm sure that this isn't the way they're going to teach you. I mean, I went to business school, and it is not the way they teach you how to figure out pricing in business school.
Hmm.
But for me, that's the way I did figure out pricing. Is
Yeah.
I charged a certain amount. I went out. I performed that service. I'm calling people. I'm talking about my service, our service now. But at that point, it was my service.
How do you price
And
today? Like where have you landed in terms of your pricing and your programs? Is it kind of a fixed project rate? Are you doing hourly? Are you doing more kind of based on the ROI and the value? How do you structure your current kind of pricing model?
so our core business are college and pro athletic teams
Hmm.
and corporations. Okay.
Right.
For your college athletic team, it's based on the number of instructors that we're going to send to go work with you, is
Yeah.
really what it comes down to, because we know where you're located and the number of instructors that we're sending, because that's going to figure out our what we want for profitability, but also
Right.
what our expenses are going to be for that event. Okay.
Hmm.
And pretty much for every single one of our athletic team clients, we know the duration of the event, we know the follow-up that's going to be performed,
Hmm.
and as long as we know where they're located, which of course we do,
Right.
then we can figure out. So for almost every team, it's just here's the price right now. And we've gotten to a point where we feel, based on our current number of instructors, because we could make more money if we charged less, and we could send other instructors that we have who aren't at the same caliber as the
Hmm.
ones that we do have. We could make more money, but then if our service erodes, ultimately,
Right. Makes
I
yeah. You're
just can't
playing
have
you're
that
playing the
happen.
long term game. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right?
That's
Providing
right.
exceptional results and all that. And then what about with a corporate?
Corporations,
Yeah.
yeah, corporations. It's that is really. It's a bit of that, where you located and the number of instructors that we're going to send. But with corporations, our services, with an average athletic team, the service is going to be 2 days in duration. We're going to come back for a day of follow up. There's going to be Skype and FaceTime sessions. For a
Hmm.
corporation, we might do, now we're doing more and more 1 week long, what we call them transformational weeks, from a leadership development and teammateship development process. So
Right.
a corporation, a company will hire us to do a transformational week with as many people as possible that they can send there to it.
Got it.
Then
Is that price kind of fixed for that program for that 1 week for each organization, or are you looking at some variables?
Again, the only variable then is the location of the training taking place and how many people are being sent, because based on the number of participants, we're going to send a certain number of instructors. And we like to keep around a 15-to-1 ratio of participants to instructor, because we can provide feedback to every single person, in which we find is key, right? So,
got it.
So those things are the variables that we need to know before we really can give a specific price. But for corporations, they'll say, well, hey, for the year, we would like to do a transformational week. We'd like 2 sets of refresher trainings for a day or 2 days. And then we come back and act as, on site, what we call our mock visits.
Right.
And we might do one of those one a month. So while every athletic team, I could almost say, here's the attachment. This is what it costs. This is what it is. For corporations, it takes a fair
bit more
amount of
customized. Got it.
Oh,
So
the whole thing is customized for a corporation.
So you shared, Eric, that early on, right, the clients came really just by you reaching out, and then the connection kind of that you had. How about today? Fast forward us to present. What is the best method or kind of tactic that you are currently using, or your team's using, to fill your pipeline of new opportunities and actually win clients and deals? What are you guys doing from marketing and kind of sales approach?
I still cannot overstate the importance of cold calls. I still can't. Now, when we do cold calls, we're able to leverage a lot of other names of clients that we currently have. So before we're doing a cold call and we're not leveraging any other name, now when we're doing a cold call, we can get out in the first 5 seconds. Here are some of our other clients. We're looking to work. That's helpful. But I feel like cold calls are so important, if not just for growing our clientele. It's good. We talked about mindset earlier, Michael. That mindset of hunger, of, okay, well, I don't have a referral that I can use right now that I can call. I don't have this warm lead. We've gotten the people who've called us now to work with us. That work is done. Okay, I can still be hunting. And we hunt by cold calling, and that mindset, that thirst, that desire to go out and sign more people, it stems from a passion for what we do, for developing better leaders and creating more cohesive teams. If somebody here is a salesperson that's going to have a passion for signing one more person because of the monetary value of it, they're not going to be at the program very long. They just won't be. But you're doing it because, God, I got to have other people become better leaders and become better teammates, because it's going to make your life better. And I got to go and sell this because it's so important for us. That is hugely important, and to making everybody at the program long-term successful. And so why it's still key to our sales strategy is cold calls. Now, with that said, of course, now after 12 years in business, with working with 160 teams on an annual basis, we should leverage our current clientele, which we do all the time.
So you get referrals and introductions, and that's a big part of it. We do.
That's right. That's true. But the only thing I would add to that, though, is for your listeners is if you're waiting for somebody to give you a referral. Some people are just very, what do I want to say? Not corporate, but just very, they understand, hey, you make more money if I give you this, if I give you a referral. There are some people out there who understand that just naturally and are thinking about it and will say, hey, I'm gonna talk to so-and-so and call them. That's a minority. However, if you're providing what you say, if you're doing what you say you're going to do and providing a world-class service or product out there, then people want to help. They want to help. So if you're that person providing that service, or in this case, me and my teammates, to call one of our clients and say, just ask, hey, look, we want to grow our business. If it's a direct competitor of yours, forget about them. I hate them. I don't want to work with them. Mm-hmm. But who's a friend of yours in this industry that would benefit from our service? I'd love the referral. And people go out of their way to provide it. So leverage your. Mm-hmm. I feel like we have to leverage our current client base, but you have to be proactive about it.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
have to be proactive about it.
Yeah, if you're waiting for people to contact you, right? It's the classic saying, hope is not a good strategy, right? And people, as you mentioned, they like to help. Like humans, most humans like to help, but sometimes they need a little bit of that push, or not even a push. They just need to know that you'd like their help. And so I think that you sharing that's really important. You touched on one thing I just want to hit on or go a little bit deeper on, Eric, before we wrap up here. And that is, you mentioned that you were one of the first, if not the first, in this industry of training, right? Kind of leveraging the military and kind of special ops experience. Today, there's a lot more people who have come out of the military or out of special ops and are building kind of leadership consulting or training businesses. And I think a lot of consultants out there listening, see that in their own industries where there's a lot of other quote unquote competitors or people providing similar services. What have you done consciously, or just what has been your kind of mindset around the increasing competition or people who are doing similar things to what you're doing? How do you keep that level of differentiation and ensure that your business continues to grow? Let's see, Eric, I think I lost you there.
Great. Sorry about that.
All good. Let's so yeah, what's your thoughts around the increasing competition and people offering similar services?
Yeah, first of all, competition is good everywhere. It makes you better. Now, with that said, what I think one of the real hurdles that some individuals in companies, what happens is you start to only focus on the competition and what the competition is doing. We don't. And it starts with the leader setting the tone with the team. My teammates all the time bring up, well, this competitor this competitor that. Stop. How are we getting better? What are you doing better? What are you doing today to make the program and our services better? Because look, we've been in business now for 12 years. They've been in business for a year, 2 years. If you're saying that they've caught up to us and passed us, then that's our fault. That's our fault. So yes, we had we did create the marketplace. There's some real challenges with doing so. One of the great things about it is you've got the first mover advantage. Mm-hmm. Don't lose it. Don't lose that advantage. And how do you not lose it, Michael? By waking up every single morning and challenging yourself and your teammates to get better. Make yourself better personally, make the company better, make our services better. What are we doing? And as long as we can stay laser focused on it, we're going to be successful. Too many people, we concern ourselves with so much in life. The most successful individuals and the most successful teams stay laser focused on that which they can control. Mm-hmm. We control us. Let's just stay focused on it every single moment of every single day.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that message there, Eric. And so the last question I just want to bring up here. So what I'm holding, and for those of you that are just listening to the audio, is Eric's book here, along with Jake McDonald. The two of you wrote this book. It's called The Program: Lessons from Elite Military Units for Creating and Sustaining High Performance Leaders and Teams. A great book that everyone should check out here. We're going to link to this in the show notes. It'd actually be great if you could just tell, especially for everyone listening to the audio right now, Eric, where should people go to learn more about you, more about your company, the program, and more about your book?
Yeah, thanks so much, Michael. I really appreciate it. The best place to go is our website, theprogram.org. You can learn more about the program, more about our services there. You can also purchase the book through our website. By the same token, our book is also offered at barnesandnoble.com and amazon.com.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to link all that up. Eric, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate you spending some time with us here, taking us through a bit of your journey and sharing some of those best practices.
Michael, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it and hope your listeners found it valuable.
Thank you.